Hi everyone. So once again, welcome to our channel Medico Prime Education. So in today's video lecture, we are going to deal with the bones and their classification. So in the previous video, we have already seen what is anatomy, what is the general terms related to anatomy, and their what are their classifications, and basically all the general things related to anatomy I have already discussed. I've already show you what things I've already shown the anatomical terminologies, their anatomical surface, what type of movements in the anatomy we will study in the joint also, but what type of movements are should be considered in the anatomy. Okay, so what are the planes of the anatomy? What are the positions of the anatomy? Okay, anatomical positions क्या हो सकते हैं? ये सारा चीज मैं आपको डिस्कस कर चुका हूँ. So, so now in today video lecture we are going to basically deals with the bone and their classification. This is very important long answer question you may be asked in the university exam. A part of this topic, so many short notes may be asked in this topic, like epiphysis is very important short notes from that topic, and blood supply of the bones. Two most important short notes may be asked. But for the long question, two topics you have to cover, like joints and this. Okay, this is also short notes. Maybe come. I will give the two star only because it may be come. Not sure. So whatever. So today is the lecture of bone. So what is bone? Bone is the hardest structure which forms the rigid framework of our body. Basically, this is the introduction part. I will discuss what you have to write in your exam. So basically, I am going to clear your concept so that you will not confuse in the further lectures of any anatomy. Okay, any chapters like upper limb, lower limb. I have already discussed the upper limb, but if apart from this chapter, if any chapter in the future, you will never confuse if you concentrate on that slides what I am showing. Okay, so structurally, so what is a bone? Bone forms the hardest substance which forms the rigid framework of our body. So suppose this is our body. Suppose this is our body. This is our body. This is our body not exist like that. So, what is the hardest substance which makes our body as a rigid? So, this answer is bone. So, bone makes our body hardest substance, hardest. Okay, so how it is possible? Here you can see the diagram of the whole skeleton of our body. Here you can see the diagram of the whole skeleton of our body. So, you can imagine how the bones. So, first, this is the our human body part. So if we discuss, this is about the human body part. If we remove the skin, so this is the first anterior view. Here you can see the anterior view. So आप देख रहे हैं कि ये जो सिस्टम है ये किस तरीके से एनाटॉमिकल सिस्टम ये किस तरीके से एनाटॉमिकल पोजीशन पे है. ठीक है. तो आप देख रहे हैं यहाँ पर में ये किस तरीके से एनाटॉमिकल पोजीशन है. सो दिस इज आवर द एनाटॉमिकल पोजीशन from the anterior view. If we go through the posterior view, here you can view like that. Okay, so this is the posterior view. Now if you remove the skin muscles, so after that you will see the skeleton. After that you will see the skeleton of our body. Okay, so this is the skeleton. Here you can see the head. We will discuss all the bones of the head in a separate video, all the bones of the upper limb, all the bones of the thorax, and all the bones of the uh, whatever the bones present in pelvis area and lower limb also. So we will discuss the small video of other bones lecture. A part of that, this is the skeleton. It's the anterior side. If you see the posterior side, how it will look like? It will look like that. This is the posterior view. Okay, posterior view, you can see the scapula on the posterior side. Okay, so whatever you can imagine like that, posterior view. Okay, now if you see the muscles of the whole body, so how muscles are arranged in our body, the muscles are arranged like that. So this is all the muscles of our body. We will discuss the most of the muscles in our video lectures also. So with the help of these diagrams also. Basically, you have to imagine in the 3D. I will show you all the 3D diagrams, all the 3D images on this video lecture. Okay. So whatever the topic video on the topic I will discuss, we will discuss also in the 3D imagination view. So this is the here you can see the muscle of the anterior view. Okay. Here one part of the muscles is removed and only the skeletal part is showing here. Understand? So these are the basic framework of our body. So our main motto is to understand the bone. Okay. If you see the vascular system of our body, vascular system of our body. So this is the heart. In the center, which organ is present? Heart. In the center, which organ is present? Heart. So this is all about the vascular system. Here you can see how it is look like. Okay. The vascular system, how it is look like. Understand? So this is all about the part we will discuss on the further lectures. So let's move to the our main topic here. So you know how many total bones in our body? You can say 206 bones in our body. So this is the all the bones here. भूत बंगला ठीक है ये भूत बंगला से उठाया है चलो देखो now so first of all we will see the axial skeleton and after that we will the appendicular skeleton what is the meaning of axial skeleton all the skeleton which is present in the axis of the body so what are the axial skeleton bone here you can see what you can see axial skeleton cranial bones, skull, okay, skull, rib cage, in rib cage, what you can see is sternum, ribs, and total 80 bones in the axial skeleton, and total 126 bone in the 126 in the appendicular structure. What comes in the appendicular structures? Pectoral shoulders, okay, upper limbs, and pelvic hip, lower limbs, and after that, these all are makes the 126 bones. Not pair, these are the number. Okay, total number of bones in our body is 226. So all you know, you have already in the NEET syllabus. So basically, what is the main motto of the okay? So what is the function of the bone? It forms the rigid framework of our body, so it provides the shape and support. I have already discussed. After that, the bones provides the attachment for the muscle, tendons, and the ligaments, and it serves as a lever for the muscle to bring about the movement. So I have already show you in the previous lecture how the muscle attach. How the muscle attach. First, it is attached to the tendon, and tendon goes insertion to their bone. Okay, so it's attached like that. So it protects certain viscera, example, brain, spinal cord, heart, liver, lungs. So this protection to the visceral organs in our body and contain bone marrow is a factory of the blood cells. So in the long question, they may be asked the function of bones. So you have to write down the function of bones. So what you will write in this? So what you will write in this? Okay, what you will write? You will write here only the functions. So first, maybe question may be asked like that. Question may be asked like that. What question may be asked? I am showing to you. So define bones. Okay, define function of bones. In the long question, if it may become the 15 marks or 10 marks, they may be asked the function of bones and classification. Classification. This may be 1 mark, this may be 2 marks, and classification may be 10 marks or 12 marks. Okay, so this may be the whole long answer question may be asked in your exam. So this is the pattern. So in this pattern, you have to make the notes from my slide. Okay, so next move to the next our classification of the bones. So for classification of the bones according to the shape, according to the structure, according to the development. So there are three types of classification according to the shape, according to the structure, means a structural classification and developmental classification. In the short notes, they may be asked about the structural classification alone and developmental classification alone. So this may be the short notes in your exam, but most important, you have to write like that the long answer question. So that short notes is already covered in that. So first we will discuss the classification according to the shape. So this is a variety of the shape you can see here. The variety of shape, this is the long bone, this is the short bone or miniature bone, as you can see like that. Okay. So this is the short bone. This is the miniature bone, short long bone. Means this is looks like long bone, but it is short. So we can say the short long bone. Other type is short bones or tarsals, you can say. Other type of sesamoid bones. Okay. Next type is pneumatic bones. Maxilla is like a pneumatic bones filled with the air cavities. Irregular bones, flat bones, long bones. So there are seven types of the bones according to the shape. Long bones, short bones, flat bones, irregular bones, pneumatic bones, sesamoid bones, and accessory bones. Okay. So one by one we will discuss about these bones. Okay, next. Okay, first we will discuss the long bones. So what is the long bones? Long bones are typically have elongated shaft called diaphysis and it extends to two ends. So if you see the long bones here, it is two end and between the two end you can see the shaft of the long bone. So you can identify like that. This is the long bone. Okay, so it has two ends, one on side of the shaft called epiphysis. So shaft on one end को क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग epiphysis बोल देंगे ठीक है डिटेल लॉन्ग बोन का स्ट्रक्चर हम लोग डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे आने वाले स्लाइड में so basically you have to look like what are the examples humerus femurs radius and all these are the long bones metacarpals phalanges short long bones there are two modified there are modified long bones these are long bones are also clavicle is also long bones but metacarpals and phalanges are the metacarpal and phalanges are the short long bones. Here MCQ may be asked in this line also. So you can write like that MCQ may be asked in your note. So next is short bones. These are short in posture, usually cuboid, cube-like or scaphoid both bones. Like examples are tarsal and carpus bones. Tarsal bones on your lower limb, okay, and the carpal bones on the upper limb means bones of the hand. Next is flat bones. Flat bones means basically it has two surface. एक upper surface एक lower surface. So if this is the flat bones, it has upper surface and lower bones. It's a flat एकदम चपटा टाइप का जो bone होगा ना वैसा. तो कौन कौन सा bone हो सकता है? Vault या फिर skull. Vaults of the skull. If you see the vault of skull, this is the flat. It has two surface, upper and lower surface. Sternum has also like that. ठीक है. Sternum भी इस तरीके से होता है जो कि flat bones होता है. Ribs है also flat bone and scapula is also flat bones. ठीक है. Irregular bones are the vertebra, hip joints. Hip bones are the irregular bones you can see, and bones of the base of the skull. So, not showing the hip bone here? Okay. So this is the bone you can see. Okay. Pneumatic bones. This is also irregular bones, but it's a characteristic difference is that the presence of the large air sinus in these bones. Pneumatic bones are the examples, sphenoid, maxilla, and lithoids. They may be asked in the MCQ from that point. Okay. So pneumatic bones are sphenoid, maxilla, and ethmoid. So this is the pneumatic bone. This is a maxilla. This is the maxilla, ethmoid bones inside the nose. Okay. So these are the here you can see the ethmoid bones. Sphenoid bones. This is the sphenoid bones. So this is the pneumatic bones. And last is sesamoid bones. These are the small knot-like bones. Means this is like nodules-like bone and found embedded in the tendons of the joint capsule. So this is the found association with the tendons or joint capsule. In your leg, in your knee joint, you can appreciate your sesamoid bone like a patella. You can appreciate. Pisiform bones also may be found as a sesamoid bone. Very important example gives the two example of sesamoid bone. Very important question for 1 marks may be asked. Okay. So along with the long answer question, I am also sharing what may be asked as a 1 marks question. So you can write down on your notebook. Okay. So next type of classification is structural classification. So morphologically, you can see morphologically means you can see the naked eye on examination of the section of the long bones. You can identify the structure. Architecture of the bone may be the compact bone or cancellous bone. So there are two types of bone. First is compact bone. Compact bone may be also known as dense bone. Okay, and second type is cancellous bone. Second type is cancellous bone, also known as spongy bone. This according to the you can say if you see the bone if you, I've already see so cut section of the bone so if you cut the bone and you can imagine and you can see that how the bones looks like from inside after the cutting the bone so if we see that it is looks like dense so we can say like a dense bone and if we see the part of the some bone looks like a spongy like fibers it's like that so you can see the spongy bone so macroscopically, you can see, not microscopically, in this diagram. you can see appreciate you can appreciate here that this is the compact bone, this is the compact bone, and this is the cancellous bone, spongy bone, also known as spongy bone. Okay, so this is the compact bone. This is a dense texture. Compact is like a totally compact in a like no, there is a no space. Okay, but are extremely porous and it prevents bending and twisting. Means it is compact and prevents the bending and twisting. So this is all the compact bone and this is the spongy bone. Okay, you can imagine. Okay, you can if you cut the bones, you can see. You have already seen the bone, some of the bones in your anatomy demo. You have already seen your college. Like some of the bones have already set their outer surface, and you can see like that also. So after if we cut this bone, so what we can imagine here? See, this is the very important, very important things you have to remember. If you have remembered this thing, you will also you will also able to understand the histology of the bone also. Okay, so this is the like a histology also. So if we discuss the compact bone, if we discuss the compact bone means if we discuss the this part of the bone, if we discuss the this part of the bone, if we discuss this part of the bone, so what we can see here, if we discuss, so we can see here the Haversian system in which the Workman's canals, okay, Workman's canal, Haversian canals, you can see here, concentric lamellae, you can see, and a part of the concentric lamellae, here we can see the center is the Haversian gland, and after that it is surrounded by some of the canaliculi. Okay, canaliculi and some of the lacunae. Okay, so this is the canaliculi with lacunae. This is the star-like canaliculi with lacunae you can see here. Okay, so this is the structure of compact bone you can see. After that, outer layer of that is the periosteum. So this is the layer of periosteum. So this is the layer of what periosteum is outside the outer covering of the bone. Okay, so this is the inner covering of the bone. This is known as endosteum. This is known as endosteum. Okay, so this is the inner covering of the bone, endosteum. So this is all about the compact bone. So now we can read here what is written. So for the compact one, you can write like Haversian system. You have to remember in your mind. First is osteon. Osteon is the unit of bone. This is the osteon. The central Haversian canal. Haversian system consists of Haversian canal and Walkman's canal. Haversian canal is the opening in the center of osteon. So this is the osteon. Here you can see the central canal. Here you can see the central canal. So this is the central canal. You can see also known as Haversian canal. Okay. And if we draw the two Haversian canal and if we connect two Haversian canal by a horizontal canal, like a perforating or workman's canal. This is the canal perpendicular to the central canal. Some of the canals runs perpendicular to the central canal and connects to the other central canal. And this is the workman's canal is like a connecting canal. So what is the function of connecting canal? It carries the blood vessels and nerves. And central canal also carries the blood vessels and nerves. So main function is that may be asked in the viva. What are the functions of Eversian canal? So it may be asked in the viva. Okay. What is lacunae? This is a cavity containing bone cells, osteocytes. You know the bone cells. Here you can see the bone cells known as osteocytes. So lacunae, it is a cavity containing the suppose this is the cavity known as lacunae. Inside the cavity, there is a uh, bone cells known as osteocytes. And these osteocytes arranged in the concentric ring. Here you can see these osteocytes. These are the osteocytes inside the lacunae. These are arranged in the concentric ring. Okay, these are arranged like that. And between them, in between the center is the center known as central canal known as Haversian canal. Understand? So समझ में आ रहा है आपको किस तरीके से अरेंजमेंट होता है ठीक है पेरियोस्टियम में वन मोर थिंग इज पेरियोस्टियम में आपको सारपीस फाइबर देखने को मिलता है ठीक है can imagine a surface fiber. Also, one more thing also here. Periosteum has two lining, fibrous layer and osteon layer. Fibrous layer and osteon layer. So this is the osteon layer. And in between the osteon layer, you can see the surface fibers also. Okay, surface fibers. These are surface fibers. These are extensions of the. Here you can see this is the surface fiber. Some of the fiber extend into the compact bone and forms the some of the fibers known as surface fiber. So you have to make this diagram in your exam if you are writing the long question. Okay, so this is all about what is known as lamella. Lamella क्या होता है? Lamella is the ring around the central canal. It is a sides of the lacunae. So this is the lamella. All these are lamella. Okay. So next, understand all these things. All these things is clear. So this is the lamella. This is the lamella. This is the lamella. In that lamella, there is arrangement of lacunae with the canaliculate. You don't have to confuse. This diagram showing all the features here. Okay. So in this diagram, you can see all the features, all these things here. Go back to my video. Go back to my video from starting. You can share. You can take the screenshot of of this diagram, or you can go through the Vishram Singh book where you can find this diagram. Okay. Now next. The spongy or cancellous bone. The cancellous bone makes a framework of meshwork. This is a meshwork of bony spicules. Okay. It consists of interconnecting rods and plate of the bones called trabeculae, including the large space field called red bone marrow. Basically, it forms a red bone marrow and yellow bone marrow. Okay. It consists of superimposed lamellae. Do not form the Haversian system. It does not have Haversian system because they get nutrition from the blood vessels because around them. So how does it get nutrition? They get nutrition from the blood vessels surrounding them. Okay, have a layer of osteoblast on their surface are or originated along the lines of the stress. Okay, so what you have discussed till now? What you have discussed till now that we have discussed the classification according to shape. We have discussed the classification according to the structures, and we have also discussed the classification according to the development. So now development is remaining. So now we are going to discuss the classification based on development. So developmental classification. So what is developmental classification? What we have to know about in them? Two types of cartilage, three types. Okay. So first is membranous bone, membrane bone. Okay. Next is cartilaginous bone and developmental classification means how they origin. Okay. According to their origin, you know the bones originate from the cartilage. Okay. So you can see here embryology. We will discuss also embryology in the coming lectures also. Okay. So you have to make the subscribe my channel. Although you have to make the subscribe my channel for further updates. ओके अब सब्सक्राइब बोलने से भी हंसी आता है मुझे ठीक है ना चलो देखो मेम्ब्रेन बोन में क्या होता है कि ऐसा बोन जो कि मेम्ब्रेन में ओसिफाई हो गया है ठीक है through intramembranous or mesenchymal ossification जैसे कि like a vault of the skulls like frontal parietal facial bones of the like maxilla these are the membrane bones means these bones ossify in the membrane also okay. So what is the origin also? It is the ossification. What type of ossification? Mesenchymal ossification. So next is cartilaginous bone. Ossify in the cartilage. Some of the bones are ossify in the cartilage. Okay. Though these are intracartilaginous or endochondral ossification. So it is formed from the endochondral ossification, you can see. So those bone which is formed from the mesenchymal ossification of the membranous bone and those bone which forms from the endochondral ossification is known as cartilaginous bone. Example is humerus, femur, vertebral column, thoracic cage, all these are cartilaginous bones. Means most of the bones arises from the cartilage. Okay, membranocartilaginous bone. It is maybe the short notes in your upcoming exam. Maybe. Okay. So ossify. It may be ossify partly in the membrane and partly in the cartilage. So it may be ossify from the cartilage or maybe membrane also. Example is clavicle sternal ossify from the endochondral ossification while rest of the bone ossify the intramembranous ossification. Example also mandible occipital temporal sphenoid bones are also the examples of what membrane cartilaginous bone. So these are the example. At least two or three examples you have to write. Okay. So this is all about the classification of the bone. A part of this, what we will discuss, the most important thing you have to remember, throughout of your life. If you cut the bone, if we cut the bone, what you can see here, you can totally appreciate the spongy bone and compact bone. This diagram I was searching. Okay, so here you can see some of the space you can find, and this is like a spicules here. This is like a spicules. I am showing to another diagram. Sorry, एक minute. Okay, so here you can see like a spicules. They're connecting fibers like a spicules, and in between them there is a space. So it forms like a sponge, na? It forms like a sponge. So this is the part of the spongy bone. This is the part of the spongy bone. And in between the two spongy bone, there you can see the compact bone. This is the compact bone. And in between the compact bone, you can see the medullary cavity. So I've already show you that where is the how the medullary cavity is formed in between the compact bone. Okay, so this is the medullary. If we cut like that, and we will see from the upperward. So this is all about the compact bone, and it between them is a medullary cavity. Okay, a part of that. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about the part of the long bone. Okay, part of the long bone. What you have to you have to remember like that. Okay. So see, this is the part of the epiphysis. This I am showing the epiphysis. After that, a line here you can demarcate here. This is the epiphyseal ring. Okay, this is the what epiphyseal ring. Okay, this is the epiphyseal ring. So it has shaft. Shaft means it has elongated part between the two expanded ends and made up of outer thick shell of the compact bone, enclosing the cavity called medullary cavity. So this is the part of the shaft. From that you can see the what you can say the shaft. Okay, thus providing the maximum strength and with minimum material and weight. Okay, so it provides a weight bearing substance here. So medullary cavity is filled with the yellow bone marrow. So this is the medullary cavity. It is filled with the yellow bone marrow. Okay. Remember this at the time of birth is filled with the red bone marrow and involved in the active hemophysis. So if you have remembered the physiology of the RBC, you can remember that initially at the time of birth, red bone marrow is involved in the active hemophysis. Okay. So at the end, you can show the lobby. It is expanded and is known as expanded and largely made up of cancellous bone. So this is known as it is made up of what? Cancellous bone. Mostly time made up of cancellous bone means spongy bones. Okay, and covered by thin compact bone. After that, the end of the long bones are covered by the articular hyaline cartilage. So you can appreciate here articular hyaline cartilage which is covered by the end of the bone. Okay. I've already discussed the periosteum. Outer surface of the bones are covered by the thick fibrous membrane called periosteum. This is all you have to fit your in mind. What is periosteum? What is endosteum? What is nutrient column? This all you have to keep your in mind, not for the exam purpose, but you have for general knowledge. At least this is a very important for your general knowledge also. So you have to remember it throughout the life. Okay, so where the inner surface of the it is lined by the thin fibrous membrane known as endosteum. Both endosteum and periosteum is the osteoprogenitor cells, osteoblast cells, osteoclasts is necessary for formation and revolving repair of the bone. Basically, what is this all is this both part means periosteum and endosteum contains osteoprogenitor cells, okay, osteoblast cells, osteoclast cells, osteobone forming, bone deforming cells. So these all cells helps in the formation and repair of the bone. Understand? So periosteum, what is periosteum? It is a thick fibrous membrane covering the entire surface of the bone except the areas covered articular cartilage. So this is the bone. Okay, so this is the bone. Sorry, this is the bone if you suppose like this is a two end. One end is articular cartilage, it is covered. A part of that articular cartilage, all the other part which is surrounds, which forms the periosteum. Peri means outer. Okay. Articular margins, there is a covered. So this is the long bone I was saying. So it is two layer. It is made up of endos. Periosteum is also made up of two layers. Outer dense fibrous layer, I have already said. The inner cellular layer which contains osteogenic in nature. Function of the periosteum, it protects and maintains the shape of the bone. It nourishes the outer part of the underlying cortex by abundant periosteal arteries. Many of the I will discuss the arteries of the blood supply of the bone in that slide. You will be cleared about the that point. Okay. So many the periosteal arteries always also invade inside the periosteum to support to nourish the outer part of the bone. Okay, so it provides attachments to the ligament, tendons, muscles, and intramuscular septums. It also provides regenerative capability to the bone. So this is the endosteum also like a nutrient foramen. One more thing, nutrient foramen is present nearly the middle of the shaft. So in the basically nutrient foramen is the main function of the long bone, where you can see a foramen through which the nutrient artery enters and supplies the blood to the bone. Okay, so nutrient foramen through with the nutrient artery supplies. Okay, goes inside that. So this is all about the bones and their classification. So it may be more than the half an hour. So in half an hour you can revise all the bones and their classifications in very best way. So our next video on epiphysis and epiphysis we will discuss the types of epiphysis with the diagram also. Very important and short notes I am saying again and again. So you have to prepare about the epiphysis in your university exam or internal exams also. Okay. So thank you so much. We will see in the next video where we will discuss the epiphysis. Thank you so much.